Hey there! So today I'm doing a video on how to be a better teammate, because as we all know, playing with randoms can be pretty frustrating. So as a teammate, what should you do and how should you help your team? For starters, let's divide helping your team into two categories. First being regarding info, and second one being physical execution. In our first category, the most basic thing you can do is give a call out on what's happening on the map. And this seems pretty basic, but we all know how many people are there that aren't even speaking. And that's because some people don't have a mic and some people just decide not to speak. Now, for the first category, you can buy a functioning mic for €5. But of course, sometimes even those €5 can be a lot. So I am a bit understanding regarding this category of people. But the second category, let me just tell you, you are an absolute shithead, and I say this with all the sincerity in my heart. Okay, so now that we unlock the ability of speaking, we can move on to the second step, which is to give precise callouts. If you tell me they are on B, I have 1 million of positions and angles to check. So learn precise comms on every map. Every position has a name for a reason. And I don't want you to learn exactly every small position on every map, but learn the most basic ones so that I can, and we can, and you can actually play without having to check everything. Next is giving precise callouts to say exactly what is happening. You don't say they are rushing B if there are 3 people. You say 3 people are rushing ups. Did you see the bomb? Yes, no, and so on. You need to give precise info, because that right now might be a bait. And if all of your team rotates, then they have 3 bomb site. So precise info is very important. Now we go into a more advanced stuff, which is giving callouts, but not regarding the enemy's positions, but what they are doing or what you should do in a given situation. An example would be, your team is pretty low on utility, and you find out that an AWPer is on the side that you want to take. If your team doesn't have enough utility to counter the AWPer, then you should call for a rotate to the other side. Another example would be that you hear somebody drop nades, so you call that they are preparing for an execute on your side. In matchmaking you don't have IGL, so everybody needs to step up with comms and callouts of their own. Next would be to tell people what you want to do. If you are with other people on the same spot, don't just force plays, expecting that they will telepathically read your mind to know what you want to do. If you want to rush, be aggressive, retreat, and so on, tell your teammates near you, so that they can play accordingly. None of us is a mind reader. So don't get pissed because people didn't do exactly what you wanted them to do without saying it. And as we are on topic, ask for help from your team. You can ask them to flash you, follow you, and so on, so on. And last is, don't be that wannabe IGL guy that says A, B, A, B. You know who I mean. You know exactly who I mean. Just changing sides for execute every round, feeling like the biggest mastermind in this game, just to get pissed when enemies adapt to it and stop your every execute because you tried to force every round within 30 seconds. You just piss people off, so stop it, you ain't helping nobody. Now we will talk about the second category, which lies in helping your team in the physical realm of CS. And what better thing could we start with than with trading? I feel like I mentioned trading a lot, but it's because it's one of the most important aspects of CS at your disposal. With trading, you make sure there isn't a man disadvantage, which will make it much easier for your team to win that round. Additionally, as a T, trading 1-for-1 basically means winning your T health. So, learn how to trade, follow your teammates, and don't let them die in vain. Inversely, don't go into positions where you are hard to trade, because that way you will give the enemy a man advantage, which more often than not will result in a lost round. Second would be to learn support utility. What better way can you support your team than when you know lineups for executes and some neat flashes to support position taking, maybe even assisting in kills. Learn some util that can help your team take side, positions, kill people, or that will help your team to survive. It will help your team a lot with whatever they need to do. Next would be to play with your team. Don't just drift on your own across the map every single round. Stay in proximity to your teammates, as that will make trading and use of collective utility possible, So you as a team and as a player have more options and higher rates of success in whatever you decide to do. Because if you play alone and if you die, that's it. The play is finished and that additional map control your team had thanks to you, it's all gone in a second. Of course, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't ever play alone, just don't hype it too much. Now, I have some additional tips. You remember when I told you about the wannabe in-game leader? What you might want to do instead is to try to take the important parts of the map, like mid on Mirage, banana on Inferno, and all of that juicy map control that puts you in a good position for eventual side take. Then stay in groups of at least 2 people, either playing 2-1 formation or playing 3-2 split. That way you can have either 4 players that are capable of trading each other, plus having the whole map covered and a guy that is set up for a lurk with 2-1 formation, or you will have a situation where every player is tradable and have a heavy presence towards one side of the map and a big group of 3 people that you can send to those important areas of the map. Beside the fact that you set yourself up for a split push with the 3-2 formation. And what I mean by all of this is that you are playing with randoms, so you can't really execute complicated strategies. So it's better to play a default and trade each other, getting important parts of the map and mid-rounding based on the collective info and individual decisions. Well, you might say, why should I complicate my life with all of this instead of just going for the execute? And the answer is that you going for an execute, trying to end the round in the first 30 seconds, means that you didn't bait the utility out of the side defenders yet. What's the point of going for an execute if you can't go into a fully smoked side because the enemy has stopped you with their utility? Beside the fact that they might have damaged you with HEs and Molotovs. Another thing to consider is that on the side, where you need 3 smokes, you might not always get them. Like if you try to execute A side on Mirage and there is jungle smoke missing, you are going to have a hard time to conquer that side. And then, if you all gather in front of one side, that means that you have quite literally 0 map control. And if you stay there and you aren't able to get into the side immediately, that just means that the enemy can either all rotate to the side, and because you didn't have any early presence on the map, all the rotators have pretty much all of their utility, so it doesn't really matter if you conquer the side, they are just going to bomb the hell out of you. Or you will get lurked, in which case you are fucked anyways. Next, and a really important one, in my opinion, is your attitude. You being mean, yelling, complaining about everything and writing GG in the second round isn't going to help you win the games. Like, if you want to win, instead of just complaining, how about you observe the situation? Think about ways how you can counter the situation and your enemies. Propose ideas to your team in a civil manner and actually try to win the game. Cause the game ain't gonna be won by itself. So start actually trying and stop being a jerk. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video. If it was helpful and you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. See ya!